I can still remember the exact moment I felt my faith just evaporate. It wasn't a loud, dramatic storm out. It happened quietly. While I was sitting alone in my house, after a series of events had completely shaken everything I thought I knew. It was this hollow, empty feeling that settled in my chest. My hands were shaking, not from the cold, but from a wave of anxiety so intense I felt like I was drowning in thin air. I tried to pray. I tried to find that anchor I had been taught to cling to my whole life. But when I reached for God, nothing was there. No peace, no presence, and no comfort. Just a deafening, terrifying silence. If you've ever felt that kind of silence from God, if you've ever felt that spiritual disconnect while your mind is at war with itself, then you know the story I'm about to tell. And my prayer is that my story can offer you just a glimmer of hope into whatever darkness you might be facing. For me, anxiety wasn't just a simple feeling of worry, it was physical. A tightness in my chest that never went away, a racing heart that jolted me awake in the middle of the night, a constant buzzing static in my brain that made it impossible to focus on anything good. It felt like living with a permanent storm cloud right over my head, and the rain was a constant drip of what ifs and worst case scenarios. I was tired, not from lack of sleep, but from the sheer effort of holding myself together day after day. And the coolest part, it seeped into my faith. I grew up in the church, and God was supposed to be my refuge and strength, my ever-present help in trouble. But in that season, he felt more like a distant, unreachable landlord. I'd read my Bible, but the words just felt like letters on a page. I'd sing the songs, but my heart was a rock in my chest. People would talk about the joy of the Lord, and it felt like they were speaking a foreign language. That silence from God was the most painful part, because when you're in constant fear, crying out for help, and you hear nothing back, it adds a crushing layer of despair. I started to believe the lies, that I was too broken, that my faith wasn't strong enough, and that maybe God was disappointed in me, or he had simply turned away. The anxiety made me feel distant from God, and the distance from God made the anxiety 100 times worse. Have you ever been there, doing all the right things, praying, reading, and showing up, but your spiritual tank is still on empty? You feel like a hypocrite, alone, not just in the world, but in your faith. And when people say, just pray about it, just give it to God, you just need more faith, instead of encouragement, it feels like confirmation that you are failing. I was trying to give it to God, but it felt like he wasn't taking it. The lifeline of my faith had snapped. I was drowning, and I didn't know how to find my way back. My turning point wasn't dramatic, a lightning bolt, no instant healing. It was quiet and it was desperate, and it was a tear-filled moment of giving up and complete surrender. I had finally hit my rock bottom. I was tired of fighting, tired of pretending, and tired of fixing myself. One morning, before the sun came up, the dread was already heavy in my stomach. Just couldn't face another day of it. In that moment, something inside me finally broke. Not in a destructive way, but in a way that finally made room for something else. I didn't have a fancy prayer. All I could say was, God, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I've tried to control this, to manage this, and to understand this, and I failed. The fear is too big and the anxiety is too heavy, so I'm giving it to you, all of it. I don't know what to do, but I'm trusting that you do. Please take it. That was the most honest prayer I'd ever prayed. No asking for miracles, just admitting I had no power. It was surrender. Just like 1 Peter 5-7 says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And for the first time, I really did. I threw it all onto him. Did the anxiety disappear overnight? No. The storm didn't stop immediately, but something shifted. A tiny seed of peace was planted in the war zone of my mind. My circumstances had changed, but I wasn't carrying the weight by myself anymore. That surrender wasn't the end, it was the beginning. The moment I stopped trying to save myself and finally let God be God. After surrender, I realized something. If I was giving God control, I needed to start my day with Him. Before, I'd wake up immediately and scan for anxiety. Where's the fear today? How bad is it going to be? And that had to change. It was the process of renewing my mind. Just like Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And research even backs this up. Prayer and mindful practice lower stress hormones. They calm the fight or flight response, and they rewire the brain for peace and focus. For me, prayer became oxygen, not a chore, a necessity. And the more I breathed Him in each morning, the more the suffocating grip of anxiety loosened. My journey isn't over and anxiety still knocks, but I don't answer the door alone anymore. Struggles with mental health aren't signs of weak faith, they're part of being human. And sometimes they pull us into the most real, authentic relationship with God that we've ever had. Healing isn't a one and done, it's daily. It's surrender, and it's casting your cares over and over again because He cares for you. So if you're in that dark place, please hear me. You're not alone, and you're not broken. Your story is not over. God isn't disappointed in you. He isn't afraid of your anxiety. He's waiting with open arms for you to just let go. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, just talk to Him. Be honest and be raw and surrender it. Jesus says in Matthew 11-28, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That promise is for you, and I'd love to hear your story too. If you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. Your words might be the exact lifeline someone else needs today. And if this spoke to you, consider subscribing for more honest conversation about faith and real life. Let's keep building a community that points each other back to hope. Thank you for letting me share my heart with you. And remember, you are loved, you are seen, and there is hope. May the peace of God, which is beyond all understanding, guard your heart and your mind. And as always, God bless.